every time you ask an AI a question. A power plant somewhere burns a little more fuel, one query, one puff of smoke. Multiply that by 8 billion queries a day, and you start to see the problem. A single chat get query uses 10 times the electricity of a Google search. One GPU hue, just one, draws 700 watts at full load. Pack 8 of them into a server node, and you're pulling 12 kilowatts. That's more than most American homes use in a day. For one shelf of chips. Now stack those shelves into racks. Quote, stack halls into warehouses the size of aircraft hangars. A single hyperscale data center drinks 20 to 100 megawatts of power continuously. That's enough to light up 75,000 homes. And right now, thousands of these facilities are either running or under construction. But here's what nobody talks about. The electricity doesn't just appear. It travels through a grid, a network of transformers, substations, and transmission line. Much of it built 40 to 70 years ago. Before the internet existed, before AI was even a concept. 55% of America's distribution transformers are already past 33 years old. Their design lifespan 40, and the new ones, 2 to 4 years, just to build and deliver. Costs have jumped 80% since 2020. The grid isn't just old, it's running out of spare parts. So, the AI industry needs more power than the grid can deliver. And the grid can't upgrade fast enough to keep up. Physics always collects. You'd think someone would slow down. Instead, they did the opposite. In Northern Virginia, the largest data center corridor on Earth, companies started plugging in faster than utilities could build, and the queue started growing. By 2023, 11,600 projects were waiting to connect to the American grid. Total capacity requested, 2,600 gigawatts. That's more than double the entire country's installed generation. The average wait time to plug a new project into the grid used to be 2 years. Now, it's 5. In parts of California, 9. Not because the paperwork is slow, because there literally aren't enough transformers, cables, and substations to connect them. The bottleneck isn't silicon anymore. It's copper and steel. And here's the part that should worry everyone. PJM interconnection, a grid operator serving 65 million people across 13 states, projects it will be 6 gigawatts, short of its reliability requirements by 2027. Not a hypothetical shortfall, a scheduled one. They can see it coming, and they can't build fast enough to stop it. Meanwhile, your electricity bill is climbing. Residential prices rose 5% in 2025. Another 4% in 2026. Jethalites are spending billions upgrading infrastructure for data centers and passing the cost straight to you. You're subsidizing the AI revolution every time you turn on the lights. Not a flaw, a trade-off. But it gets stranger. Because the tech giants looked at this crisis. The aging grid. The impossible queues. The transformer shortage, and they didn't lobby for grid upgrades. They went shopping for something else entirely. They went nuclear. Microsoft signed a $16 billion deal to restart a reactor at 3 Mile Island. Yes, that 3 Mile Island. The site of America's worst nuclear accident. The place that killed the country's nuclear ambitions for an entire generation. Now it's being resurrected to power Bing. To be fair, the reactor being restarted isn't the one that melted down. Unit 1 ran safely for 40 years after the accident. But the symbolism is hard to miss. The technology that was supposed to make us smarter is dragging us back to the one energy source we swore we'd leave behind. And Microsoft isn't alone. Meta signed deals for 6.6 gigawatts of nuclear power, enough for over 5 million homes. Amazon invested $20 billion in nuclear-adjacent infrastructure. Google partnered with Kairos Power to build a fleet of small modular reactors. This keeps engineers up at night. Not because nuclear is dangerous, but because none of it exists yet. Google's reactors won't come online until 2030. Microsoft's 3 Mile Island restart, 2028 at the earliest, and no fully decommissioned American reactor has ever been restarted. Amazon's small modular reactors, 2039. The AI industry is writing checks. The grid can't cash for another decade. But there's another crisis hiding inside this one that almost nobody is talking about: water. Every data center is a furnace. Thousands of GOGs generating heat that has to go somewhere. The most efficient way to cool them: evaporate water. A single large facility drinks 5 million gallons a day. That's the daily water supply for a town of 50,000 people. Gone into the air to keep servers from melting. In the Dalles, Oregon, Google's data center consumed 29% of the entire city's water supply. Data centers drank 2 billion gallons in 2023, 63% more than 4 years earlier. And projections say water use could increase by 870% as more facilities come online. Electricity or water? Pick your crisis, because you can't cool the servers without water, and you can't run the servers without electricity, and both are running out in the same places. At the same time, for the same reason. Now here's the twist that makes engineers lose sleep. You might think, fine, just make AI more efficient. Use less power per query, problem solved. Except that's been tried before. 160 years ago, and it backfired spectacularly. An English economist named William Stanley Jevons noticed something strange. James Watt had just made the steam engine dramatically more efficient. Coal consumption should have dropped. Instead, it exploded, because when engines got cheaper to run, people used more of them. Way more efficiency didn't reduce demand. It supercharged it. They call it the Jevons paradox. And it's happening again, right now. When DeepSeek made AI models cheaper to run, usage didn't stabilize. It skyrocketed. More people, more applications, more queries, more power. Every efficiency gain feeds the machine that's eating the grid. The better AI gets, the worse the problem becomes. So, nuclear won't arrive for a decade. The grid is already short. Efficiency makes things worse, not better. And the political world has finally noticed. Bernie Sanders and Ron DeSantis, two politicians who agree on almost nothing, both came out against the data center boom. When the far left and the far right unite, the pressure is real. Some companies aren't waiting for the grid or for politics. They're building their own power, fuel cells. On-site, solar battery, storage. Meta is co-investing in grid infrastructure directly. Data centers are transforming from passive electricity consumers into grid stakeholders, part of the power system itself. The line between tech company and energy company is disappearing. The International Energy Agency projects data center electricity consumption will hit 1,000 terawatt-hours by 2030, more than double today. That's roughly the total electricity consumption of Japan for servers alone. The infrastructure to support that doesn't exist yet, and building it will reshape energy policy, water, rights, and power grids in ways we're only beginning to understand. We built the most intelligent machines in human history, and their first demand wasn't knowledge or creativity. It was power, raw, physical, old-fashioned electricity pulled through cables that were strung before most of us were born. We don't solve problems. We choose which ones to keep. And right now, we're choosing to feed the machine and hoping the grid holds long enough for the future to arrive.